So the context and the setup here is we're in EOS, following the proven process, and we're starting in the focus day. And if you remember, the focus day begins with the journey. And the very first thing we talk about in the journey is understanding healthy and smart. And this is where we're anchoring EOS and healthy. And the way we measure healthy is through the 7 critical needs. So I go through and we talk about the standard healthy and smart from Lencioni, but then what I do is I unpack it and I say this is what he means by healthy. There's 4 things. He talks about there being little to no confusion in a healthy organization. He talks about there are little to no politics. Like, think about politics. Politics basically come from confusion. People act out. So when they're confused, they get fearful, and politics enter the world. And then he talks about he doesn't say that. He talks about low turnover in key people. And you can unpack this as however you want to. I'm just trying to give you the outline you need to cover. Low turnover in key people. Your A players can't stand confusion and they really hate politics. They're going to leave you. So low turnover in key people. And then the last one is he talks about high levels of productivity and engagement. Basically trust. So you can measure your productivity levels through your financials, and then we try to drive high levels of engagement and trust. EOS at the end of the day is a trust building program. And I jump into that here and I say, let's understand what this looks like. And so in the BITE world, we've been surveying for a while, and we have a lot of numbers that closely echo what Gallup has, but I use this graph. I call it the H graph. You'll see it all over the place. And this is what the standard curve looks like with companies before they've done EOS or before they've done some kind of trust program. 18% of their folks are negative, 22% of their folks are neutral, and 60% of their people are positive. So what you're seeing here is this dotted line across the center is like a neutral energy line. Anyone above the line's putting energy into the organization, anyone below the line's pulling energy out. So this 60 over here is where all your great ideas come from, all your great relationships happen. That says relationships. This is where all your profit comes from, etc. Everything great happens over here in this positive world. And when we say positive, this means that they are positively aligned. They're able to say yes, that they understand what it means to belong, and yes, they believe, and yes, they're accountable, yes, they're measured, yes, they're heard, yes, they're developed, and yes, they're balanced. That's all I say. These 22 in here are sort of in the middle. They might give it like a 7. Yeah, I belong, I believe. Not taking energy out, not putting any energy in. But this 18% over here, they're triggered somewhere where they don't feel like they belong, or they might not believe in where the company's going, or maybe it's not clear what they're accountable for, or they're not buying into how they're measured, or they don't really know how they're heard. They certainly don't know how they can participate in their own development, and they're not balanced. Maybe they can't live inside their ways and means of what the company's paying for the different seat with its roles. We got to get clarity on that, and EOS allows people to get aligned to these 7 critical needs. And this is the idea. We ask the question, how many of these positive people are offset by one negative person? You just ask them that question, and they go, oh, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Or had one client say, well, Walt, let's play a game. You go around cleaning up the house. I'm going to go around messing up the house. Who's going to win? And it's always the messy person. Most people say it's like a 2 to 1 deal. Now Gallup, a lot of work in this area, says it's a 1 to 1 offset. One negative person pulls down one of your positives. So what we do is we pull this minus 18 over here. It becomes a negative number. We subtract it from your positive number, and we're going to end up with what we call a power index or a BITE index of a 42. Our goal is very similar to the overall EOS goal, is to create an 80, which means you might have, like this would be a smaller number, 85 here, and you might have 5 there, it's going to give you an 80, or you could have an 82 here with 2% here, it's going to give you an 80. And when you get to that 80, you are hauling. There's little to no confusion, there's no politics, you're not getting any turnover, you got high levels of productivity and engagement. Almost there. Then the next thing I come in here and I say is you got this, take this exact same curve right here, and I draw this thing that I call the danger/opportunity gap. And right here are your 18, here's your 22, and here's your 60. And there's this gap here, and this is the irony. It's the danger and opportunity. The danger is these are your engaged, your positive people, and if you piss them off somewhere in here something changes that they're not positively aligned to. It doesn't have to be all of them, just one or two where they're not bought in. You can lose them to negativity faster than they will ever live in neutral. And I make this point with the teams. Think about yourself. You're an A player. Are you happy playing at the C level? And they're like, no way. And this is the other opportunity, is a lot of times these 18, they really want to buy in. They used to buy in a lot, but something's happened and they're living over here. And we actually have the opportunity to pull these 18 over. They call it, they care. We can sometimes move them over here, or we need to help them self-select out, and the EOS will do that. So that's how I line up healthy and smart and lay down the 7 critical needs. And it's the last time I talk about it until we talk about rollout. Hope this helps.